Welcome back, traders. In today's video we're going to be talking about swing trading technical analysis for gold, and we're also going to be looking at other assets that are related to gold that will help paint the picture as to the direction as to what gold is going in. As well as with those assets as well, you could also find opportunities within those assets, right? So that's what I'll be talking to you, that's what I'll be sharing with you today, and we're just going to get straight into it. So the first thing we're going straight into before we do anything else is what's going on with gold. At the moment we're on the 4 hour, so let me jump into the day and let's see if the day looks better to talk about than the 4 hour. And the day actually looks a lot better, right? So this is what we got going on so far, and gold has kind of been hovering around in this area for a while. Okay, so it's almost done. I would say this has been the last couple of months, say 2 months, no, even longer than that. Sorry, so April, yeah. So this going back since April, right? Gold has been in this situation right here. I'm locked in, so I have 2 positions in gold right now, right? I have 2 positions in gold right now. The first is over here, and the last one is over here. And since I made those 2 trades into, I don't know what I just did there, mate. What did I just do? How did I go back to undo? What did I just do? The charts look so funny like that. I mean, let's go back and look at it again. Okay, right. Sorry about that. It's early in the morning. I need a sense of humor. You know what I mean? I gotta be. I need that. So, anyways, right. Where was he? Right. So I'm in a position in gold in this area over here. And I'm also in a position in gold in this area over here, I believe. I'm somewhere in this area, right? Give or take. So I've got these 2 positions locked in. And in those 2 positions that I'm in on gold right now, I haven't done anything else, right? So those positions, what's happening with that right now? Well, I'm getting overnight fees, right? And all the rest of it. But I don't care. Why I don't care is I could worry about the pennies, right? Getting charged overnight for holding a long position, or I could just be in the business of actually trying to grow a trading account properly, right? And I've taken that stance. Obviously, depending on what kind of broker you've got, overnight fees sometimes are reasonable, sometimes overnight fees are not, depending on the broker that you have. So that's something that obviously you're going to need to take under consideration. So with that all said and done, right, I am bullish on gold. That's my overall position, and gold is the asset I'm actually in right now. So I'm bullish on gold, right? Now, going to this chart, what are we looking at here? Well, we can see right now that gold is currently sitting at 33.37. This is where gold is at the moment. Gold is inside of a range right now. So this is the range that gold is in. And at this point, taking trades in the middle right here is a bad idea. In my opinion, it's a bad idea. It's something you don't want to do. However, if you do want to take trades, you want to take them from these locations over here, which is 32.62 or 34.10. These are the 2 areas you want to be taking trades from. So we're buying 32.62 and we're selling 34.10. Right now, personally, I do not take short positions in gold. I used to. I don't do that anymore. So if you're taking moves up here, I won't be joining you, right? Chances are I would only join you from this location down here if you're taking longs, right? So with that said and done, because in terms of what gold is doing, there's not really much that can be covered other than if you enter in this area over here it could all go wrong very, very, very quickly because it can't be trusted. And I think today we've got some major news coming out. We've got some major news coming out today. Let me jump onto FX Factory real quick before we go on to anything else. Because I know today is going to be a big meeting. Okay, so we've got no news today, but there is something that could impact the market today, right? And that is, I believe, Trump and the rest of the leaders of the European Union are going to be talking about what they're going to be doing in Ukraine, right? It might have something to do with gold, oil, all the rest of it. It might not, but I am keeping myself active for a potential that something could happen. Obviously, we've got the UK lame copper inventories, right? So copper has something to do with gold. We need to see the details on that one. That's coming out in a few hours. Yeah, so that is lame. The London Metal Exchange. So they're going to be talking about that. We've got CPI at 130, building permits, housing starts, FOMC. Yes, we have a whole bunch going on today, right? So we want to be mindful about these things. Just going to jump back into the gold market again right now. Jump back in. And hence why we've got it looking in the way that we've got it looking in, right? So with all of that said and done, now we're just going to get into other opportunities that we could look at that could help us with our overall positions, right? So right now, gold is consolidating at the top. Gold is consolidating at the top, and we kind of need to see. Wait, let me go in there. Canvas, solid. Okay, so we're going to look at Australian dollar against gold right now. We're looking at this on the day. We're looking at this on the day. And what we can see is there isn't really much of a correlation. It's a loose correlation that we have between the Australian dollar and gold right now. I don't know why I brought up the Australian dollar. I don't know why I just did that. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? There's got to be a reason. Okay, bear with me a moment. This is where I don't know if I've just made a mistake or if there's logic to this, right? So just bear with me one moment. Okay, so they're slightly correlated, right? They're slightly correlated. They're slightly together. They are slightly together, right? So we had this massive move to the upside. Gold went up, started to fall, then okay. Yes, sorry about that. This actually is a good reason for why I just brought on the Aussie dollar. So the Aussie dollar is one of those currencies that is linked to mining. So as we can see, we do have a slight correlation between gold and the Aussie dollar. So why am I bringing this up to your attention right now? So depending on what you're doing in the market, you might find opportunities in the Aussie dollar, right? You might find opportunities in that. So as we can see here, Aussie dollar has been in a solid downtrend for a couple years now. Since 2021, it's been in a downtrend, right? So it's relatively easy to trade. Relatively easy to trade. Let me just do this, right? Relatively easy to trade, right? So all that we're kind of waiting for in regards to what to expect from the Aussie dollar is you just want to know when it's planning on turning around and going back into an uptrend. That's all in general you're looking to, that's all you kind of want to find out. When is it going to start to go back into an uptrend? And if you look at it, it's just been in a downtrend for a little while, right? For a good couple years. For a good couple years it's been in a downtrend. Okay, so up, then a flash drop, then up, and now we're doing okay. So keeping an eye actually on this currency pair is a good idea, believe it or not, right? It's a good idea because today is the first time that I'm looking at the Aussie dollar, right? Just because normally when I do an analysis, right, I only focus on one particular asset and I don't look to see its corresponding relationships with other assets, right? So me just bringing this on, so essentially I've just gone onto Google and just said, hey, what assets correlate with gold, and it's just giving me a long list. And what I was supposed to do was go through them first before I brought them to your attention. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what, just bringing them on first hand and then doing the analysis first hand, I think that's actually good for me. So rather than pre-warning myself, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna find out together, right? So just as you're gonna be surprised in seeing it on your screen as you're watching this, I too will be surprised the first time I bring this on as well, and hopefully that view will translate over to you guys. So getting back to where we are, right? So as we can see right here, in this direction we can see Aussie dollar is pushing up, and you could have made the right decision to buy, and then you could have had this move over here, which obviously would have stung a fair bit. And then once it popped back up again, just trying to see when it gave that close inside. Once it popped back into this zone again, you could have then hopped in with another buy to make up for your losses in this area over here, which ultimately you would have gotten once price reached this level up here. Now as it stands, the dollar itself is inside of the high value area of the volume profile, and what we're kind of waiting for is to see if price is going to make his way up to perfect low value node. So that's a good location for it. Okay, so right now what we're waiting to see is what price is doing in this zone right here, right? So I mean, to me this is an obvious playbook, right? Yeah, but like I said, I don't like doing things that falls in line with me actually telling you what to do. So I'm just gonna leave this here like so, right? And normally if price is moving away from a particular asset, we know what to do, right? So at this level, which is 0.6627, price rejected off that level. That level itself is in a low volume node area, right? So this move to the downside over here, I'm expecting price to move in that direction. I am expecting it to move in that direction. What does it mean for gold itself? Well, I mean, in all fairness, I don't think, although this is correlated, I don't think it's heavily correlated with gold, right? I don't think it is, right? They do kind of move in the same sort of direction, but it's not how I would expect it to be. So as it stands, we're just gonna say, okay, like whatever, you know what I mean, in regards to this. But these are the moves that we can see in this situation right here. These are the moves we can see in this situation right here. And obviously, if we're looking for bullish moves inside of this, then I would be looking at 0.69422. Right, so 0.69422, we get a close above that. I'm looking for buys in Aussie dollar. That's how I would play it. I may be right, I could be wrong, only time will tell. And that's that. So I think we spent enough time on this so far. And what we're gonna do to kind of make up for the time, we're just gonna jump into silver real quick, right? Gonna jump into silver. Okay, now this is heavily correlated with gold, right? So whatever gold is doing, you kind of want to look at it on the silver side and see what silver is doing. And in most cases, what you would find is whatever is happening on one thing is happening on the other. Obviously, it's more extreme on gold, but however, the overall general gist is whatever is happening in gold, you're seeing also in silver, right? They kind of move in tandem with one another. And when one starts to turn around, the other is turning around also, okay? So let's look to see what's happening in this area right now. So what we can see here is we have what I would like to call a squeeze at the top, right? We have a squeeze at the top. It's being pinched right now. It's being pinched, right? And as you can see, these two levels is what I have drawn here, right? So I've made this one blue and I've made this red. Okay. And we're just going to drop the VP at this level right here. Okay. We're going to go take a look to see what's happening. And you know, in all fairness, I should have started off with silver. I should have started off with silver in all fairness. But anyways, if we didn't plan on looking at the Aussie dollar, at least we've taken a look to see what's there. So yeah, anyways, let's get back to this. Okay, so what we have right now is silver has left a low volume node area, right? It's on the top side of that right now. It's on the top side of this low volume area, right? It's on the top side of that, so it is in there right now. It looks like it's coming back in, right? But that's what we've got going on right now. And I'm expecting silver to push to the upside. So basically, bounce off 37.77. I'm expecting it to do that, right? And close above these levels over here. So I'm expecting the same thing in gold as well. I'm expecting a push to the upside. Worst case scenario, we have another low volume node under here just before you get to the value area high boundary, which is this right here, right? So it could either come in here, it could either bounce from here, that's normal, based on all the data that we saw in regards to what the metal markets could do today. So as you can see, there is nothing going on in the FX market right now, right? But what we can see is that we have a decent amount of data coming out today in regards to the metal markets, right? I'm expecting price to respond to that, okay? And this is what we're kind of talking about now. That's what I was leaning towards saying. Then I got all my words all jumbled up. Okay, so now that we've gotten this out of the way, let's also take a look at platinum. Okay, and we can also see, okay, this is not exactly looking it is not looking exactly like gold, but however it is looking quite nice. So let me just drop this in here like so, and so we do have platinum outside of the value area high, or the high value area, right? And we have it in the low value area, which is up here, right? That's what we got going on there. We can definitely see that it's knocked out the trend and gone all the way up. So whoever got timed that in correctly, you're laughing right now. So that's great. If I was going to put in a trend line, I would pull it here, and I believe this will definitely come in handy to catch a possible reversal. Yeah, it doesn't look right, so I probably have to move this over here. I'm gonna have to move this down here. At which point, no, not necessarily. I could drop this here. Yes, clean. Okay, yeah. So at this point, it looks like based on how I've put this trend line on this chart, it looks like platinum is about to break and fly downwards, right? That's what it kind of looks like right now. This is an ascending channel, so it looks like he wants to break down, right? It looks like he wants to break down. If I drop a channel on here, we can kind of see that it does look like he wants to break down. So right now we're looking at this on the day. So let's jump into the 1 hour and let's see how it looks on the 1 hour. And it's going to look really, really, really straight up, like dead on. It's going to give us the vibe. It will give us the vibe without a doubt. So this is how it kind of looks, right? This is how it kind of looks. If I want everything to be in and in, this is how it kind of looks. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, so that's a okay. So I have some form of a low volume node in this area right here, helped with the bounce to the upside. Yeah, but it looks like this thing wants to break down. It looks like platinum wants to break down to the downside, in all fairness. It looks like he wants to do that. But once again, these metals are correlated with gold as well, right? So it's all about what the daddy wants to do, right? It's all about what the daddy wants to do. And if he's deciding that it's pushing upwards, then it's going to majorly push upwards, or platinum will just begin to flatline. So we'll just go sideways for a little bit, and then ultimately it would then begin to push upwards too. Let's just have a look. Because for the most part, it just looks like platinum just stays in the range. I mean, this is the first time that it's kind of like pushed above, but in most parts, it just looks like it just stays in a range, right? It doesn't really do anything other than range. So yeah, there's not really much I can say, but I am really glad that I'm taking the time out to look at all of these right now, right? So the next thing that we're going to look at right now is we're going to look at copper. we're going to look at copper. Let's see how much that is going to surprise me. Okay. Yes, so as you can see, I have been playing around in this area looking for opportunities. I know exactly what I was looking for in this area. Like it just reminds me, it just makes me laugh when I go back and I look at my works on here, right? And you're probably wondering, what is this guy talking about? Well, I'm going to show you briefly, right? I'm going to show you exactly what I was doing on here, right? So you can see for yourself, right? I'm going to get rid of all of these levels that I've just put there, but first things first, I want to show you what I was doing, right? Just so that you know that. So what I do is I'm looking for breaks of trend, right? I'm looking for breaks in the trend right now, right? So I'm looking for breaks in the trend, and then what I'm also looking for is retest areas, right? So remember, I'm doing my utmost to cut down on FOMOs in trades, right? Which means a lot more waiting than just jumping in. And if I do jump in, it's because everything is lined up, right? So in this situation right here, what we're looking for? Well, we're looking for levels like this, right? We're looking for levels like this, right? This is where we can see a clear bounce from a particular level. So this is what's on the inside of the trend, and this is what happens on the outside of the trend. Once a trend is broken, price tends to normally come back to revisit a level inside of the trend, and that's what we have right here, right? So we're looking for the same thing over here. So this is inside of the trend, outside of the trend. And then what I will do is I will look for levels inside of the trend to see where price would normally come back down to. So then if I'm looking for anything in markets, right, I'm looking for a position, all I need to do is find out where these levels usually are and just wait. And at some point, if price comes back into it, that's when I tap in. So if we go here, right, we can see we have these levels right here, right? We have these levels right here. This is these levels right here. These levels right here, right? And I would mark out every single one of these levels, right? I'm going to get rid of all of these in a moment, but just bear with me, because this is an opportunity for us to learn something that we might not have known before. So some of you already know this, some of you don't. If you don't, well, I'd like to draw this to your attention. If you do, then I'm just reconfirming that you're right in what you've known all along. And you'd be like, I know. And I'm like, yeah, I agree too, right? I agree too, right? So normally I derive those levels that I talk about from, it would be from the high points. So you'd be for high points over here, or high points, or maybe even this area over here, because this is a high point. Just so long as it produces a high point, I would mark that area out, so long as it's inside of the trend itself, right? So long as it's inside of the trend, I'll mark that area out. So what you're going to see is that at some point, you're going to get a level that locks in straight away, and that is this one right here, right? That is this one right here, right? So that's what I normally do. This is what I was doing with these trend lines. I was figuring those areas out, and what I would do is I would erase everything again, and then I'll come back and I'll revisit to see if I can find it again. And you can do the same type of concept on the other side as well. So if you're looking for a break of structure, you could do that as well, and that would then give you the insight that you're looking for. So with that said and done, we're going to get rid of all of these, right? And then we're going to get back to seeing what is actually going on in the copper markets, right? So with how this uptrend is moving, we can actually drop a trend line a lot further back, right? A lot further back, and I would say I would target this area over here. So this is our selling trend line, basically, right? And as you can see, just as gold has been going up, copper has been going up too, right? Copper has been going up too. So now what we kind of want to do is drop the VP on here, and this will give us a rough idea as to what is happening. And looking at where we can see where copper is right now, right? This is a touch and go type situation. This is the touch and go type situation. Sorry, because so it looks like copper might want to. I don't really know, because we have, first things first. Look at this, right? Look at this, guys. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. So first things first, we have an ascending channel in this area right here, right? This is the first move that we have. We have an ascending channel. Also, at this level right here, we have a low volume node sitting right there, okay? And price is moving away from that now, right? There is a lot going on in the metal market. So today's news is really going to do either a good thing or it's going to do something crazy, right? So price has moved away from this low volume node when price came into the value area high, came under the value area high and into the high value area, right? Now price has now moved away from the high value area, and if we look at this area up here on the hour, right, we can see that it is also beginning to form a channel. No, is it really a channel, or is it more or less a squeeze? If this low part here was a little bit lower, this would have made this whole thing legit. But at the same time, it does give a descending channel kind of vibe, right? So this is touch and go. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, but we're just going to leave it. We're just going to go with it like this, right? So I'm going to say we have a descending channel in this area right here, right? Let me zoom out. So with that, okay, you could have price unexpectedly just blast all the way back up again. But at the same time, let's not forget all the stuff that's taking place in this area over here. Okay, so it is in line with kind of what we're seeing in gold at the moment, but then at the same time, it's not. It's not. Do you know what I mean? This is touch and go. Do you know what? I don't know if you guys are going to enjoy this analysis that I'm doing with you guys right now, but for me personally, I'm absolutely enjoying this, right? Because all these assets, I knew the assets that I was going to be bringing on to talk to you guys about, but I promise you, I did not look at this. This is the first time we're doing these analysis. We're doing them together, and I'm literally, it's giving me a much better understanding as to what's going on in gold right now than I thought. This turned out to be a real good day for technicals, right? Based on my own personal learning experience. I don't know if that's transcending to you guys, because a lot of the times as I'm analyzing this, I keep forgetting that I'm literally talking to you guys. I literally keep forgetting. Okay, so we've done Aussie dollar, we've done silver, we've done platinum, we've done copper. I'm gonna do GBPUSD. So let's just jump into GBPUSD. Let's see what's going on there. Okay, GBPUSD, and that one there is we can see that's moving in a way that you're kind of expecting that from gold as well, right? So this drop, so in a nutshell, GBP USD, right? I'm just looking. It's kinda correlated, not heavily correlated, but it kinda is, right? It kinda is. So as I run the crosshairs across the chart, keep an eye on how everything looks at certain points on the gold chart as well. So first things first, we're verifying how correlated gold is with GBP USD, right? So if you didn't know and you're trading, you might not be able to find the position you're looking for in gold, but you might be able to find it in GBP USD, right? So this is the whole point of this exercise, why we've looked at AUD, why we've looked at silver, why we've looked at platinum, why we've looked at copper, and why we're now looking at GBP USD, right? We're looking at assets that we could move into if gold isn't giving us what we want, right? As well as all the other additional things we could learn from it as well, right? So that's why we're doing what we're doing right now, okay? All right, so as I run this along, so we had a drop, okay, we can see we had a drop there. Yeah, gold is correlated with GBP USD. I mean GBP, yeah, GBP USD. I thought I said something else. Okay. So gold always gives the signal first, then it follows along. Okay. 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 Yeah, for this one you're gonna need yeah, your technicals needs to be on point with this one. Okay. Yes, they are correlated. They're not identical, but they are correlated, and you can look for positions if you cannot find what you're looking for in gold on this as well. Same thing with copper, same thing with all the ones we've looked at, but obviously this is because I'm heavily in the gold position, right? So I haven't really been looking at this in the way that I was supposed to. I'm going to be brutally honest with you, I'm only human, right? Like, I haven't really been looking at this in the way that I'm supposed to be looking at it. And obviously now we're going to be looking at this properly. Okay, so bunch of low volume nodes in this area up here. So we have a low volume node between 1.339. I like that number, right? And the value area high of 1.333. I like that number too. Price is definitely coming here, right? Price is definitely coming here. This is without a doubt in my mind. I may be right, I could be wrong, but I believe price is definitely coming down here. These are numbers that these guys really love, and this is like their best number. They love this number more than anything, right? It's coming down here again. Like, I promise you, it's coming down here again. This is one of the easiest places to take positions from, right? It's coming back down to this area again, right? That I can promise you. So what do we have in terms of what's going on right now? What is going on right now? Let's have a look. I think this analysis has been more about me running than anything, but I still believe there's a whole bunch of useful information in here. Okay, all right, so I'm expecting, so this is what I'm expecting, right? I may be right, I could be wrong. This is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting the head and shoulders in this area, right? So shoulder, head, shoulder, then blast off. Then blast off, right? So this one asset right here has given me super confidence in what I can expect from gold in the coming days and weeks, right? So this is a really good one that we've looked at right now. And I think the last one I want to look at is NZDUSD, because tomorrow we're talking about USD JPY, so there's no point in me bringing that onto the screen right now. That's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. And I kind of want to keep some surprises, you know. Okay. So this one is looking a lot like the Australian dollar, right? It's looking a lot like the Australian dollar. Let me change this around a bit. Okay, so this is looking a lot like the Australian dollar, right? A lot like it. It's practically identical. So looking for buys would be above 0.61255, or if you want to be absolutely certain, you're looking for 0.63905. Closes above these two levels, you can look for your longs. In terms of what price is doing in this area, this is basically self-explanatory. We have a channel. We have a channel in this area right here. It's not a clean one. It's definitely not a clean channel. It's really messy in terms of how it looks, right? And you would want to see that broken. Now I think I've already put a level in this area right here, and now pull it down as 0.58474. Right, so if that was to happen, you could look for your shorts, but at the same time you kind of want to be careful. Although there is a correlation between this and gold, the correlation is actually not that strong. It's actually not that strong. I mean, when I come back to do this again, I'm going to have to switch this up, because this, although there was a lot of learning in what I've just showed you right now, okay, I think I could have done it better if I had planned this better, in terms of looked at the overall assets before I just brought them straight onto you, because we're finding out this for the first time, right? We're finding out this for the first time ever since I started correlating assets. So from the first video that I did, I think this weekend on Bitcoin, where I looked at the relationship with other cryptos, right, with Bitcoin, and now what I try to do is every single asset I look at relationships that it might have within itself, right? this is where it's kind of like led me. So technically what I normally do is I'll put together a list of assets that are related to gold or to whatever that I'm looking at, right? And then I will bring it on based on how I am feeling about this asset before I bring it on. So for example, what I've just showed you just now is I've showed you gold, I've showed you AUD, GBP, NZD, silver, platinum and copper. But also what I have on the list is I've got Barrick Gold, New Mount Corporate, Franco Nevada, ENIC Gold Mine, USD, CHF, USD, JPY and Dixie, right? So there's a lot I could bring you. Same thing with yesterday when I brought you NASDAQ and we looked at all the other moving parts. I had a long list, right? And I'm just picking which ones I think is going to work as I am talking to you about it. So what it is that I'm going to have to do is I literally have to go through this with a fine tooth comb, right? Really fine, and only pick out the best. So today's analysis has been great, right? But however, I think this video that I did could have been a lot better than what you're currently getting. I'm not saying that this is a bad video. There's still gems in here, right? But I think I could have done way better than what I'm giving you now. And apologies beforehand, but I should have really looked into these assets before I just brought them on. And I've just I'm just doing this on the fly, like literally, and it's good. Like, at least for me personally, it lets me know that I've definitely improved by a huge margin, right? But at the same time, pre-planning would have been better. Okay, so with this all said and done, because this is an opportunity for me to bring on an asset that I know people are definitely interested in, but they usually get this late in the week. And that is this one right here, EURUSD. As a matter of fact, okay, so EURUSD is somewhat correlated with gold, right? More with Dixie. So this is an inverted Dixie, right? So what do I mean by inverted Dixie? So right now, if you was to look at this chart, if you was to look at Dixie, Dixie will look exactly like this, but the inverted. So this would be down here, right? As a matter of fact, after this, we're going to look at Dixie. What the hell? What the hell? After this, we're going to look at Dixie, right? Yeah, we're just going to look at the Dixie briefly. After this. Okay, doesn't like it there. It doesn't like it there either. Okay, let me find. Much better. Okay. Actually, do you know what? Let me just do this. Let's get rid of everything on here and then just pull it back. So the chart that we was just on, I mean, what I just showed you before is pretty much the work that we had on here for the last time I did a video on EURUSD, which would have been on Friday. So on this Friday's video that we're going to do, basically, it's going to be based off what we talk about here, right? So I just thought I'd just draw that to your attention real quick. So okay, so is gold and EURUSD correlated? And I believe they are, to a certain degree. I believe they are, right? And what I would like to do is, I wouldn't be able to show you that they're identical, but what I can show you is that they are similar, right? And they're similar in the way of, if this is the inverted DXY, right? And when the DXY is down, gold is up. And when gold is up, the DXY is down. Or when the DXY is up, gold is down, right? Basically, it's what we're looking at right now. So DXY is down. So EURUSD will be up. Gold will be up. NASDAQ will be up. S&P will be up. Right? So now that we've looked at this, possible areas of entries for EURUSD is between 1.15442 and to the value area high 1.14418. Between those two zones, this is where you could think about taking your buys, right? So with that said, we're going to look at the DXY. Actually, we're going to look at the DXY on this side of the fence. So let's look at the DXY here. Okay. I mean, you see how that lines up, right? So I saved the best for last, right? So just to find where it's symmetrical, I'm going to look to take my symmetrical levels from over here. Oh, so it worked back there. Okay. So this is what we got going on right now, right? This is what we got going on right now. If we just draw a little level on here, right, we can see what's happening. You can see the similarities as to what's going on. These are basically the exact same chart. These are literally the exact same chart. There is no difference between the two at all. Even the little spikes that we have in this area right here. Look at it, it's right here, right? So where did I drop my the volume profile? Let's say I dropped it from here. Let me see where the volume profile goes back to. Okay, I don't think the volume profile will go that far back for me on the DXY. But basically, this is what we got going on. We can clearly see the inverted look, right? They're upside down of each other. So, and this too. So we're looking at EURUSD. We've brought on the DXY over here to explain if this is down, that is up. This is down, right? So we're going to bring on gold right now. We're going to bring on gold. So it's not the one that we was looking at. It's a different gold chart, but we've got the general gist, right? We've got the general gist. So in terms of what's going on here, I would say this. Actually, wait, let me go back. Don't move. Okay. Okay, so in terms of the general gist of this video, this is what we're looking out for. We're looking for our buys at 32.62, and we're looking for our sells. Well, you might be looking for your sells at 34.10. Right? So with that said, guys, if you found the video useful, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like. And I will see you all on the next one.